I think that of all the needs that people have in their life, the foundational need is for people to be redeemed into a relationship with Jesus. But most churches struggle doing it. One of the things I love about Alpha is it gives churches the ability and groups the ability to engage people with the hope of Jesus.
The very first few alphas that we ran had a very large mix of people who were already, deep-rooted Christians who just really had an evangelical heart. And now what we're seeing is we're getting people who are taking Alpha that have tons of questions about faith.
It puts us into really close proximity with people on that questioning journey. It puts us into regular conversations with them as they're trying to figure it out, so that they're not like a nameless crowd, they become friends.
The biggest way that we create an invitation to Alpha is by telling stories. When we hear 10 or 15 people sharing their stories about what this has done for them, and not necessarily a transformation in what we would define as success, but that they're now just exploring more, or that they've had, a commitment of faith, or that they've had an encounter with the Holy Spirit. Ultimately, if we can encourage the people watching our Sunday service or who have just taken an Alpha and they're really excited about it, right at the very end of Alpha, if we can encourage them to invite 3 or 4 people to the next Alpha, which is just happening in a few more weeks, we find that's our most powerful invitational tool. That consistency provides our community with this really secure invitation that if they can't be a part of this Alpha, within a few short weeks, another one's going to start. We just never stop running it. I think last year we ran 4. This year we're slated to run another 4, and we're popping out mobile Alphas as much as we can.
I think sometimes what happens at churches, even churches that are like this one, that have evangelism at its core, there's something about that value of evangelism that it doesn't just sustain itself. And Alpha, if you're doing Alpha regularly, it just brings the church into this hyper season of evangelism.
The side benefit of Alpha is this host and helper leadership development tool that now we get to see leaders bubble up in Alpha, then they become a helper, then they become a host, then they become, a greeter leader or something else on our teams, and then they join a village. And the succession of leadership development is something we didn't anticipate. It's been a beautiful progression and helped our church dramatically.
I was just in a group a couple of nights ago again, and to interact with these profound life transformational stories and seeing people on a regular basis interacting with each other and with the hope of the gospel is life for me. And so it's life for me as well as a leader of a church. And it makes ministry fresh almost every single week.